The city skyline glimmered with the lights of towering skyscrapers, but inside one of the tallest stood a woman on the edge of collapse. Ariana Steele, heir to a billion-dollar business empire, sat at her mahogany desk, staring at the reports that spelled disaster. Years of her father's hard work were about to be wiped away by a single mistake. A rival company had found a loophole that would cost her billions and perhaps the empire itself. She pressed her temples, fighting back tears. To the world, she was strong, confident, untouchable. But alone, she was a woman watching her world slip through her fingers. At that same moment, miles away, Daniel Carter, a single father of an 8-year-old daughter, was closing up the small repair shop he worked at. Life hadn't been easy since his wife passed away, but Daniel carried himself with quiet strength. Every decision he made was for his daughter, Lily. Fate works in mysterious ways, and soon their worlds would collide. The following morning, Ariana attended an emergency board meeting. As financial experts debated complex strategies, a small, unnoticed voice spoke up, Daniel's voice. He wasn't supposed to be there, yet destiny had placed him in that room. He had been hired temporarily as a tech consultant to fix the boardroom's failing systems. While working silently, he couldn't help but notice the flawed calculations on the presentation slides. Numbers had always been his hidden strength, a talent he never pursued professionally due to life's hardships. "Excuse me," Daniel finally said, his tone respectful yet firm. The room went silent. The board members glared. How dare a repairman interrupt a billion-dollar discussion? But Ariana, desperate for answers, looked at him curiously. "Go on," she urged. Daniel walked toward the screen, pointing at the figures. "Your competitor is using false projections. They're manipulating the market with data that looks solid on the surface, but if you cross-check with independent records, you'll see the loophole they're exploiting. If you counter it now, you'll save billions." A hush fell across the room. The experts quickly recalculated, and Daniel was right. Ariana's eyes widened in disbelief. This stranger, a man in worn-out shoes and a simple shirt, had just saved her from ruin. The board erupted with whispers, but Ariana silenced them. She stood, her gaze fixed on Daniel. "Who are you?" she asked softly, her voice trembling between relief and awe. Daniel hesitated, his humble nature shining through. "Just a single dad trying to do the right thing." For the first time in weeks, Ariana felt hope. She had no idea that this man, this ordinary father, was about to change not only her empire's fate but her heart as well. After the board meeting, Ariana couldn't get Daniel out of her mind. She had been surrounded by wealthy advisors, polished consultants, and powerful executives all her life, yet it was this humble single father who saw through the cracks and saved her empire from collapse. Later that evening, Ariana called for him to meet in her office. When Daniel arrived, he looked uneasy. His clothes were simple, his hands still carrying the roughness of hard labor. The lavish marble floors, glittering chandeliers, and sleek furniture of her office made him feel completely out of place. Ariana noticed his hesitation. "You don't have to be nervous," she said gently, gesturing for him to sit. "You saved me today. My company, my father's legacy. I owe you more than you realize." Daniel gave a modest smile. "You don't owe me anything. I just did what anyone would have done if they saw the mistake." Her eyes softened, but she couldn't help her curiosity. "Tell me, Mr. Carter, who exactly are you?" He hesitated before answering. "Just a father. My little girl is my whole world. Fixing things, repairing machines, that's how I keep food on the table." Ariana leaned back, studying him. His world was so different from hers. She lived in boardrooms, stock markets, and luxury galas. He lived in responsibility, sacrifice, and quiet resilience. Yet something about his honesty disarmed her. "Would you consider working for me?" she asked suddenly. "Not as a consultant, but someone I can trust to look at the numbers, to keep me from being blindsided again." Daniel blinked in surprise. "Me? Work for a billionaire's empire? I don't belong here." Ariana tilted her head, intrigued by his humility. "You belonged today when you saved us billions. Maybe belonging isn't about where you come from, but what you can do." The conversation was interrupted by his phone buzzing. He glanced at the screen and quickly stood up. "I'm sorry, I have to go. My daughter's waiting." For the first time in her life, Ariana felt a pang of something unfamiliar, curiosity mixed with admiration. As Daniel walked away, she whispered to herself, "A single father with nothing to gain, and yet, he's the one I trust." Meanwhile, Daniel drove home to a small apartment where little Lily ran into his arms. "Daddy! Did you fix the big building today?" she asked with wide eyes. He hugged her tightly. "Something like that, sweetheart." As he tucked her into bed that night, he couldn't shake the image of Ariana Steele, powerful, untouchable, yet carrying the weight of the world in her eyes. Their worlds had collided by chance. But neither realized their lives were now tied together through fate, trust, and a bond that was only just beginning. The following week, Daniel reluctantly accepted Ariana's offer to work as a private advisor. At first, he told himself it was temporary, just a chance to earn enough to give Lily a better life. But with each passing day, he found himself drawn deeper into Ariana's world. For Ariana, having Daniel around was unlike anything she had ever experienced. Her board members were polished, rehearsed, and always calculating their own gain. Daniel was different, unpolished but sharp, blunt yet honest, a man who spoke from truth rather than ambition. One evening, after a long meeting, Ariana invited Daniel to dinner. They sat at a quiet corner table in her private dining hall, the city lights shimmering behind glass walls. Daniel looked uncomfortable at first, and used to crystal glasses and golden cutlery. "Relax," Ariana said with a small smile. "It's just food. Same as anywhere else." Daniel chuckled. "Maybe. But in my world, dinner is usually macaroni and cheese with my daughter." Ariana's expression softened. "Tell me about her." That was when his eyes lit up. He spoke of Lily with a warmth Ariana had never seen in a man before, the way she loved painting, how she always insisted on saying goodnight with a bedtime story, how he tried to make up for everything she had lost when her mother passed. For the first time, Ariana saw beyond the strong, serious father. She saw a man who lived for love, not money. And something in her chest shifted. Over the next few days, Ariana found excuses to spend more time with him, inviting him to strategy meetings, asking for his opinion on matters beyond numbers, and sometimes just enjoying the silence of his company. One afternoon, as she watched him sketching notes on a whiteboard, she caught herself smiling. He didn't belong in her world, and yet, she felt more at peace around him than she ever had among billionaires. Daniel noticed too. Though he tried to keep things professional, he couldn't ignore the quiet pull he felt toward her. Ariana Steele, the woman everyone admired but no one truly understood, trusted him. That trust grew into long conversations, quiet laughter, and moments that felt like secrets shared only between them. But Daniel reminded himself of reality. He was just a single father trying to survive. She was a woman with an empire, someone far beyond his reach. Still, the bond was undeniable. An invisible thread tied their hearts closer with every passing day. Neither of them admitted it, but both knew something deeper was forming. And destiny was waiting to test just how strong that bond could become. The bond between Daniel and Ariana grew stronger, but with closeness came the shadows of truth. Ariana had enemies, powerful rivals who would do anything to destroy her empire. And Daniel, despite his calm exterior, carried burdens from his past that he never wanted to reveal. One evening, after a long day at the company, Ariana asked Daniel to walk with her on the rooftop terrace. The city stretched out like a sea of lights beneath them. She turned to him, her voice soft. "You've been here only a short time, Daniel, but I trust you more than people I've known for years." "Why is that?" Daniel looked away, gripping the railing. "Maybe because I have nothing to gain. I'm not here for your money, Ariana. I just want to do right by the people who depend on me." Her heart softened at his honesty, but deep inside, Ariana was hiding something. She hadn't told him that one of her board members, someone Daniel had already advised against trusting, was leaking secrets to her rivals. And worse, if Daniel's suspicions were right, the betrayal went deeper than she dared to admit. Meanwhile, Daniel carried a secret of his own. Years ago, he had worked for a financial firm but was forced to quit when his wife fell gravely ill. In the chaos of hospital bills and mounting debts, he walked away from a promising career to care for his family. It was the reason he now lived in simplicity, working odd jobs. But he never told Ariana this. He didn't want her to see him as a man who had once had it all and lost everything. He wanted her to see him as who he was now, a father doing his best. One night, danger struck. Ariana discovered an urgent email that confirmed Daniel's fears. The rival company was about to launch an attack that could wipe out her entire business. She rushed to find Daniel, her hands trembling. "Daniel," she whispered, handing him the evidence. "You were right. Someone close to me betrayed us." His jaw tightened as he scanned the documents. "Then we have to act fast." "But Ariana," he paused, his eyes filled with worry. "When this is over, there are things you need to know about me. Things I should have told you sooner." Her gaze lingered on him, torn between fear of losing her empire and the growing ache in her heart. "Then promise me one thing," she said. "No matter what happens, don't walk away." Daniel's chest tightened. He wanted to promise, but he knew some sacrifices would have to be made. And when the truth came out, it might cost him the very bond he never wanted to lose. The storm finally broke. Ariana confronted her board, armed with the evidence Daniel uncovered. The traitor, a senior executive she had trusted since her father's time, was exposed. His betrayal nearly cost her billions, but thanks to Daniel's guidance, she turned the tables. The empire was safe. The headlines praised Ariana Steele for her brilliance, but she knew the truth: without Daniel, everything would have crumbled. That night, she invited him and Lily to her penthouse for dinner. It was the first time Lily had ever stepped into such luxury, her little eyes wide with wonder. "Daddy, it's like a castle," she whispered, tugging his hand. Ariana knelt to meet Lily's gaze. "And you, young lady, are the princess of honor tonight." She offered a gentle smile, one that wasn't the cold steel of a billionaire, but the warmth of a woman who longed for family. As the evening passed, laughter filled the room. Lily painted with Ariana on the balcony while Daniel watched, his heart torn. He had promised himself to keep a distance, but seeing Ariana bond with his daughter made him realize something: his world and hers were already colliding, piece by piece. When Lily finally fell asleep on the couch, Ariana poured 2 glasses of wine and joined Daniel by the window. The city sparkled beneath them. "You saved more than my company, Daniel," she whispered. "You saved me." He shook his head. "I just did what was right." "But Ariana, there's something I need to tell you." His voice carried the weight of years. He confessed everything: his past career, how he gave it up to care for his dying wife, the financial ruin he barely escaped, and the fear that he wasn't enough for someone like her. Silence hung heavy after his words. Daniel braced himself, ready to walk away if she looked at him with pity. But Ariana's eyes shimmered with tears. She stepped closer, her hand finding his. "Daniel, don't you see? That's why I trust you. Not because you're perfect, but because you know what it means to fight, to sacrifice, to love. That's worth more than billions." In that moment, the distance between billionaire and single father disappeared. He wasn't just the man who saved her empire, he was the man who held her heart. Daniel pulled her close, their foreheads touching as the weight of their worlds melted away. For the first time in years, Ariana felt free. Love wasn't part of the deal. But in the end, it was the only fortune that mattered.